I think the main strength in their early game comes from like the sort of roaming support and jungler force that they use a lot of the time, and they just go around sweeping early vision. And so I think that's where their strongest point is. If we can win out the early game and end the game decisively, I think that we can win versus LMQ.
Welcome back to the North American LCS. We are on to our next match. It's going to be LMQ versus Evil Geniuses. And EG are looking for a win to break a 4-game losing streak that has them starting the day in last place.
Yeah, but honestly, EG has looked more competitive in their games since Helios joined the team. But the hard truth is that it still isn't translating into wins. If you look at their record, the team was 2-6 with Snoopeh, and now 2-7 with Helios in the jungle. And also, it's been about them not closing games. There's been 3 games where EG had a 1,000 goal lead or more at the 20-minute mark, but they've only won 1 of those matches since Helios joined, whereas other teams in the league win 77% of their games when they have at least a 1,000 goal lead at 20 minutes.
We actually saw that just not happen recently. And we have to remember the last time these teams faced off was Helios' debut in the NA LCS.
Yeah, and that was one of the games where EG had the 20-minute gold lead, but it was also an uncharacteristic game for LMQ because they played very passively. It was only through EG's inability to capitalize on their early lead and close out that game that LMQ were able to put out the win. But their fans shouldn't worry. Based on the win over COG yesterday, they look to be back to that fast and loose play style that LMQ is branded for. Vasilii actually had a huge game as Tristana, picking up kills throughout that game with some really crazy suicidal-looking jumps. It was an important win as well because it stopped their 0-2 super weak losing streak. And they start this day actually just 1 game back from first.
To finally see that Vasilii style coming out. So let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's LMQ. It's going to be Ackerman, NoName, XiaoWeiXiao, Vasilii, and more.
And then we have the red side with Evil Geniuses. Innox, Helios, Pobelter, Altec, and Krepo.
And really, a matchup, you can have almost a featured matchup in every game. I like to watch the mid lane. It's been different this week because now as we're getting the standards back in, mid lane's not on the island. They're getting a little bit more pressure, and we're seeing people that have had roam potential recently not roam as much. The TF being banned out. We saw Link last game kind of just completely, or the other game, set to mid.
And we've also seen XiaoWeiXiao just dominate that lane even more so. He is so
because you get that battle now
on just fighting that mid laner. Without all the roamers that have happened with that 2v0, he's able to take even more advantage of his last-hitting mechanics.
Hey, LMQ says if they can keep with their well-laid plans and they don't divert, things will always go well. We saw what happened as they kind of fell into some Pantheon trying to counterpick previous games, so they'll stay away from changing what's on their head.
And Riv, with all these victories from Complexity and Curse, it's getting lonelier and lonelier at the bottom for Evil Geniuses. They are sat on 4 wins right now. Complexity has 6, Curse has 8.
Yeah.
EG does not want to be in the cellar here.
Very, very tough situation to come back from.
Yep.
They have had good pickups with Altec and Helios. They're showing strength to the team, but the result is not the win. It'll be much more coordinated games, but teams are still finding the errors EG makes throughout long set games. Ackerman looking to pick up the Lulu. Good flex, as we've seen recently, and it actually doesn't get banned out this game.
Ackerman's Lulu play has been exquisite as well. Big time first pick, but Innox didn't get to play Kale on his birthday. He gets it today.
Yeah, Westrice gave him a lot of presents on his birthday. He wasn't having too much fun when he opened those. Helios picking up the Nami for Krepo. Played a pretty good Braum yesterday. But he's going to be forced onto the fish for this one. That KL still gets through. We saw Westrice pick up a win on that.
Barely.
It's been the only one we've seen in the North American LCS since 410 at 1. It's been picked and banned. Teams aren't really putting priority.
Innox was able to win on it last week against Curse in that big comeback.
The comeback win.
So I think Innox is really good at it. This can really push EG towards a late game comp. Or even just late game power.
More rocket jumping for Vasilii possibly, as they will pick Tristana into what they see so far. NoName maybe just taking up his jungle with Ellis in banned out. Grab the Ellis, get a nice high tier pick.
Yeah, yesterday when Dash asked Vasilii after the game why he picked Tristana over the other 80 carries, it was near the end of the champion select phase, and it's because they hadn't built that much damage on the rest of the team, and they really needed it to come out of the 80 carry position. But also, after the day when he had an interview with Travis from On Gamers, he said that Tristana was what he was known for when he was an AD carry in China.
Right.
So it's not just this recent surge of Trist. It goes back a while.
Yeah. It always feels really good to have a comfort champion like that, knowing it in and out. You can push your limitations a little bit more. We'll see Vasilii doing that. As we mentioned in the pregame, a little more of the Valkyrie and the Rocket jumps in on his Courtney and Tristana play now. Pobelter and Alltech. Pobelter, a playmaker the team looks at, somebody to carry these games. Now with Innox on to Kale, it may relieve a little bit of pressure there if they have two big threats, and he's going to get the last pick of the game for himself, as usual.
They might do the Rise mid lane.
Yeah, they have that again. Cinder gets picked up.
They did Rise Kale solo lanes the last time they ran. They got Kale with a Jinx AD carry. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Pobelter is willing to pick Rise into Syndra. And there it is.
Very interesting matchup across the board. We've seen another Jinx as well. Cop played that today, getting a little more playtime herself. We'll see if the sustain lane can keep him safe. EG picking up a team composition that has a little bit of late game capacity to it, but really wants to win towards that mid game. If they can't get Pobelter in a good spot, XiaoWeiXiao is looking to go very hard on that lane, as we said before. But they can scale. They have the Rise.
Yeah.
Get to that late game.
There's a lot of late game power in both these teams. Vasilii with Tristana.
Yeah.
EG with everything. So a lot of it's just going to have to do with how well Pobelter does against XiaoWeiXiao in that mid lane, quite honestly. And even just how the matchup goes with the Jinx versus Tristana. This has also been a day where the bottom three teams so far are 2-0. If they keep doing that, they're not going to be bottom three for long.
And a super week, you see the top teams really thinking they have the hold, and the lower teams are really able to find a footing when everybody's tired. Nobody really has that last get up and go. Super week is a strenuous thing to be played on. As the teams load onto the Rift, let's check out your predictions here for Game 3. According to LOLesports.com, 73% of you are voting that LMQ will take this game.
But also keep gazing into your crystal balls and share your picks by tweeting us at LOLesports. Hashtag it LMQ win or EG win. If you're paying by the character, you should vote for EG, but that's not how phone plans work.
That's not how phone plans work at all. And we talked a little bit about how EG really needs these wins. Everything has worked against them today with the other teams in the bottom of the list, as we said, going up. So to lose this, it puts them even farther down in trying to get those wins. It's not going to get any easier as well. Teams are figuring each other out here halfway through the season. We've seen a few different things, but those come from a lot of errors in the late game right now. Teams are kind of faltering as they get pushed into the late game. Before 410, we saw a bit faster of games, so we're getting back into that. Having trouble closing out, having trouble finding last initiative to get the game in your favor. LMQ versus EG. We're in your Game 3 here. Day 3 of Super Week. Week 7 already in Summer Split. Let's see who can pull out the win.
This going to be the 18th game of the split for both these teams.
Yeah.
Meaning 10 will be left before the North American playoffs. The question will be whether EG can make the playoffs or not.
One of those things when you put it in a different quantity, it seems like such a short amount of time. It's like you live an average of 74 summers, Jack. That seems like a lot. Helios found out. He should be safe. Helios' Eve play, as any other, quite aggressive. So eyes on him towards the beginning of this game. We're going to get standard lane matchups like that very much. And we'll see who can really pressure themselves into the late game here. We already know Pobelter and Innox want to get themselves farmed up, be able to be just unstoppable forces.
Credit to our camera guys for getting every single ward.
Every single ward there, yeah.
That was nice.
Let's take them out to dinner.
Yeah. You can see all the defensive wards there, so no invadey wards thus far.
Moving fast.
And a lot of people are trying to save money with the 5-character hashtag. Or they just have the faith in the bottom 3 teams. Super Week is upset week, it appears.
Using those burner phones.
Curse 3-1 on the week. Complexity has another game today, but sitting at 2-1.
Yeah.
EG, however, winless so far in Super Week. Combine that with the opening of this split, where they were 0-4 in Super Week. Add that to this, they are 0-7 this year during Super Weeks. Not their cup of tea.
It's a different style of gameplay. That's for sure. You got to be ready for a single game It's not a best of 3. No errors can be made in that matchup. When it does, it's very hard to come back. Coming into the LCS, teams are faced with that style to learn as a team together. And a lot of them are kind of still trying to break apart a solo queue mentality. That's Alliance's reasoning for really playing a lot better this year. They said, yeah, we're all good, but then we finally put that together as a team and came out strong. A lot of teams still kind of look for that. Everybody does their own thing here in the beginning when you're trying to put that composition together. As the lanes start off, Innox, he's taking a good bit of damage up here in the top lane as he chugs down his potions. Doran's rings for both starts, as they're going to be going back and forth with each other. See how aggressive Ackerman gets by himself, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Zone defense.
I mean, he hit the early level 2.
Yeah.
Innox has got to respect that. Lulu and Kale, the 2 emergent top laners, really, of this split. Last split started out with the super tanks. Mundo, Shyvana, Renekton, Trundle. It's really trended towards these ranged mages right now. Kale and Lulu at the forefront. Often banned away. Seeing both of them in the same game is very rare.
Ooh. That's an alert. Should be to XiaoWeiXiao.
Yeah.
Should be to XiaoWeiXiao. Okay. He knows a little bit. He's playing high side on mid.
I mean, he doesn't want to get pushed off CS. He's
right.
so greedy
right
now.
Flash in. Force the flash. Is there an ignite to come out? No. Pobelter does not throw that down, thinking the auto attacks won't be enough, and I think he was right.
Yeah, big damage he could put out back on him, too.
Yeah.
It ended up burning the flash of Pobelter, so at the end of the day, not awful for XiaoWeiXiao, but he was really wanting that wave to stay in the right spot CS-wise. Pobelter...
Oh, Pobelter's flash being down. He does have Helios' help, but they reconsider the fight altogether with the crowd control. XiaoWeiXiao and both NoName can put out. NoName, he goes in! XiaoWeiXiao was not ready for that. He was already turning around. 1 for 1, though.
That was really the only option there to try and turn a kill back, but one kill goes to jungle, the other kill goes to mid.
Yeah.
XiaoWeiXiao already with an edge in that matchup over Pobelter. Should prove advantageous. However, again, Pobelter rushes that magic resist Negatron cloak.
Yeah, last time he did this, he stood in lane, easily taking the simple Qs from Syndra, and he was really able to keep a good fight on. He is one to know how to play a scary situation. He'll keep it safe in that mid lane. Vasilii backs it up. Looks like they are keeping quite an aggressive brush control here by Moore. Nice job by him. It's not even really trying to be won by Krepo.
Yeah, this is honestly a lane where Jinx doesn't have too great of a shake early on. Tristana can definitely out-trade anytime they go in. And also shove much faster.
Yeah. Not too bad once you get to the turret. You don't have to deal with super long range, so Alltech lets that go. I was kind of wondering why he wasn't using rockets to get back at it, but he's easily farming under the turret. 5 minutes in. Oh, it's pretty much even Stevens around the map. Just a little bit of gold coming from the kills. First blood is the increase on the side of LMQ. See, both junglers, NoName and Helios, very much in tune with where they are in positioning and their thought process.
They know Flash is down.
Yep.
But also, Helios knows Flash is down. Uh-oh.
Pobelter, you got to consider you're all the way across mid lane. It's going to take a little bit for Helios to close that gap. More hate spikes. Another kick to the backside of XiaoWeiXiao, and he puts him down to the chair. Oh, what a rude prison. He also starts chugging the potion, actually eating up his biscuit at the same time. Pobelter multitasking.
Yeah, one really critical thing about that last fight was the double buff transfer that happened to Helios, and the one flash edge they would have in the next trade. Even though Pobelter did get jumped on first, the damage from Helios and the flash plus the red buff gave them the edge. 3-0 start on E.
Good answer. Good lockdown. Every lane's getting heated here. Alltech takes a bit of damage as they trade almost evenly. EG comes away a little more scratched on that. They got the sustain, though. Let's take a look at this one more time. A very aggressive initiation by Pobelter.
Yeah. I mean, he just about paid for it, but remember the magic resist item he has. He's
That's right.
He rise right now.
That's a perfect point.
And Helios is the real bringer of the pain at this point. Nothing to repel to defensively. Tries to get the kill, but it was not quite enough.
That Negatron pickup. You to MVP. We got Tier over onto Pobelter. He was actually hesitant again on picking that one up, but he starts stacking it as soon as he knows he's getting a lot of assists in mid lane. This makes Helios huge. Now, can he make anything with it? Usually he's the one dying for everyone, but now he's got to keep himself safe and in the game.
Right, level 6 on Eve. The next gank is of utmost importance. Honestly, XiaoWeiXiao might have a friend coming soon. He can dodge this
over and over.
would be so important.
Beautifully played.
Just got to get in range for one Rune Prison, and they got him.
Walk the walk, and they talk the talk. That's going to be a level 6. They can turn around the damage. The teleport's coming in as well. XiaoWeiXiao gets hit up. That's going to be Ackerman. NoName is there as well. The rotation coming down from Innox. They're going to lose Helios. A shutdown, but however, going to the jungler.
Wow.
NoName gets that gold for himself.
There was a 2-level edge between those junglers before that. NoName nearly got a full level for killing Helios. Helios misplayed that gank. He did not ult at the start. Instead, he waited for XiaoWeiXiao to start running away, and then they just barely didn't have enough damage to finish. That's another reason he was in position of the turret. If they played that gank smoother, I think it would have worked and the teleport would have been for nothing, but it doesn't, and it puts LMQ back in the game.
Yeah, there was no flash up for XiaoWeiXiao.
Yeah.
And that teleport would have been an easy turn onto Ackerman after he was dead. So a little bit of back and forth hesitation coming in, but still good at play from both teams as they're trying to get the lead.
I think it's one of those situations, I've done it myself plenty of times as a jungler, I'm sure everyone has, when you're so far ahead, you think you can kill someone without your ultimate, because you got such a good jump on him. They're just like, well, we Rune Prisoned him to start.
Save it.
Let's just kill him. As soon as he started getting away, he goes, oops, maybe I need to ult.
Wow. I'll take a bubble for a death sentence and a box. Very nicely played out there. A flash, however, from Altec, so that could be a repeat trip. Helios again to the mid lane.
Putting on the camp right now. XiaoWeiXiao does have ultimate and flash, though.
He's got the red buff. This will be another flash down if he were able to lock it in.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3. He's not going to actually need the flash on this one. He will be able to get out, but a lot of damage just coming out from Helios there.
Very close timing right there. Pobelter flashed. He was trying to flash over the Scat of the Week, but ended up getting knocked back. And now Helios in a whole world of pain.
Helios used quite a bit there, now giving the red buff and a blue still sitting over onto XiaoWeiXiao.
Wow.
Dang.
So
things turn quick when Helios thinks he has the upper hand.
Mid lane is a battlefield right now, and Helios won the battle, but it looks like they're losing the war. Because these last 2 ganks, especially with the shutdown and now the double buff sitting on the Syndra, without blue buff control as well, is not good.
A little too reckless. With EG getting the lead here, they're quickly turning things around, and EG has been giving LMQ everything. They've badly had to stay in mid lane.
Yeah, definitely the most action-packed mid lane we've seen, but just a lot of punishment.
Yep.
As soon as one side thinks they have the edge.
Oh, there's the speed up. Huzzah!
Oh, man!
So close. Wait a minute, Helios, don't do it again. Oh my gosh, this could actually be pretty crazy. More was still possibly a fight. That's going to be his double buff back. A complete refresh. What in the heck is going on this game?
A lot of action. This is an LMQ game, let's be honest. They fight again and again. No blue buff taken, no turret taken, but more deaths and now a chance of taking out that dragon. Helios also got some revenge on that pink ward.
Those buffs are lasting forever. They're going the long haul this game. We'll see how long they go. 10 minutes on this. EG picks up first dragon. Very nice gold. A little bit more coming off the 410 as we've been talking about over the past week or so. And we have the aggression in the top lane, so Innox cannot get anywhere. Ackerman also used the teleport to get up recently, so these two are battling it out. And a wet noodle fight begins. A little bit of a lead with 85 CS and an assist, but nobody can really use it to kill each other.
Double blue buffs as well onto EG. It's one of these games where the double buffs is like a death sentence. As soon as you get the double buffs,
look out.
You're sure to be getting killed fairly shortly after.
Interesting. Very low mana for Helios, low for Innox. Could have a lot of pressure lost in the lanes here if they were to back. LMQ acts on any of this. It could give them quite a nice lead. It's still very close at 500 in the lead for EG. The kills are dead even as these teams are coming up with the perfect retribution kills. After somebody goes down, more trying to predict a sidestep there by Krepo, but misses.
Yeah, that lane going kind of how it was expected right now. Altec would need a gank to start turning things around against Trist here. Vasilii went double Doran's BF sword. Because the dragon does not have too big of an overall gold lead.
Wow. Yeah! A sneaky NoName. Good forward wards. That ward definitely pays off. Gets a good return on investment for that one. Looks like Helios won't even try to pursue. And they won't even try to clear either. All the sweepers are down for EG, so they've done what they can. Now soaking up the rest of their experience in the jungle. Ackerman still pushing the top lane, 102 to 91 as Innox is just throwing rings on his fingers.
Yeah, triple Dorans. Boy. Helios wanting to get some warding for NoName. One thing that they haven't been able to establish super well is actually counter warding to know when a counter gank is coming at them. But they have that now, at least on that side of the jungle. And a lot of pinks set up for LMQ in the bottom because Helios has spent so long in the middle of the map. The pinks that the bottom lane have placed have really paid
They've been
for
huge.
themselves.
Easily controlled by LMQ. They've been up for quite some time, thwarting all the ganks bound. Helios again tries to go for the mid lane here as they think that NoName and XiaoWeiXiao are going to try to put extra pressure onto Pobelter. They should be able to read this though. Helios will have in mind, and he says, Pobelter, stick with me. We're going to need the buddy system on this.
Time for a fight.
Oh, good amount of crowd control. Actually missed on both sides. It's a bit of a scatter here. If Innox can land one of those Qs, he flashes for it. NoName's going to have a rough time on this. No buffs to be transferred on that one, but they do pick up a nice kill.
Yeah, pink ward bait, really good coordination between the solos here and Helios's Eve. Once again, a very slight early game lead for EG.
They're actually able to do this with a lot more confidence. Even Helios himself going back to pick up the Negatron Cloak very fast, kind of mirroring each other so they get the shots in. Vasilii just troll firing. And shoot it. Yeah, all right.
Also notice how
patience.
more ditched the turrets, so all of the local gold went to Vasilii.
Yeah.
True support there, getting the extra 150 instead of sharing that 2 ways.
He doesn't need any more. He has Moby boots too. He went fast for those. He's trying to get himself around, get the wards out. Also make sure an Eve doesn't catch them off guard in that bottom lane. A lot of people he can actually hook on that side of EG, so I can definitely see why Moby boots would be a favorite for him.
Not a good pink ward there by Ackerman. He had been pushed back in lane and Innox was waiting for it.
Right.
It's basically 100 gold down the drain.
Slow movement. They're actually thinking this mid turret's going to find a lot of pressure soon. Well, they're right. They're there a little early.
Yeah. Map pressure is diminishing for EG right now. Mainly because that Tristana lane did so well against Altec and Krepo. And also because XiaoWeiXiao has been pushed up most of this game against Rise. They're trying again though.
Oh, whoa!
Hello.
Thought that was a buster shot at first, but it's Jinx! Oh, NoName! Reaches out one of the arms, and he's able to stop that one. Very nicely played.
NoName had a huge smile on his face after blocking that. He knew exactly what was coming. He guarded in front of XiaoWeiXiao.
It was nicely played. They were able to keep safe XiaoWeiXiao at 3-2-1 right now. Actually not having an outstanding farm game as he usually does. Still almost up in that lane.
How are you going to be farming when there's constantly a deep gank coming again and again and again?
All the time.
Speaking of Eve ganks, got his ultimate.
It's going to be a wild growth, but that was used quite early. They're able to shred through that. The turret is onto Helios.
Oh, no.
He's able to get out safely.
He picked up another kill.
Yeah.
They would have wanted that to go over to Innox. Eve does not scale into the late game well whatsoever, especially when compared with Rise and Kale. So the fact that these kills are actually going to Helios is really bad for EG's late game chances.
45 seconds left on the clock. It would definitely help to have a little bit of that power not on the Eve. If Pobelter could have somewhere, at least Innox, their teleports will be down. Actually, his will. Ackerman's is going to be up here, so LMQ may be able to make a move on this dragon. You can already see Vasilii happily pushing the bottom lane, so they'll have that in their favor too. Also, map control. EG just kind of lost a lot of ground for no reason.
3-man gank in the top lane did not even pay off with the turret. And it was just 300 extra gold for Helios. Well, this turret, it's worth a lot more.
Yeah, it is. The only thing more LMQ would have wanted out of that is to get some kills in the pressure fight where you can get behind the turret. But they're still getting what they want. Dragon spawns and 5, and the bag of chips is there for them as well.
No vision.
No vision, no contest either. They're not even hovering.
Great objective control there for LMQ. Something LMQ did very well against CLG yesterday.
Oh yeah, that game was outstanding.
Dragon
very well
dragon
played.
after dragon for LMQ. And now another turret. 4 turrets and a dragon. EG needs to group and push.
Such a big influx of gold. EG better hopes they do not meet LMQ face to face here. They're able to return fire with only one mid turret. It'll open up the map. Maybe they can get some forward wards in now a little bit safer, but they still are dealing with two outside turrets. The lane pressure is just going to be so much. Ackerman now free to roam. That's not something EG has the capacity to do.
Definitely not.
Yeah, gold. Gold, yes. Little does he know, there's another 30 right behind him. He's just saving it for later. Pushing down to the mid lane now. Let's see if LMQ can start dictating what EG does. Doesn't seem like Altec's going to be moving too much on this one. Oh no, he is. Really nothing to farm in that bottom lane. He's kind of just wasting time. He looks like he wanted white if he could get to it. But they can't even do that. They're forced now to soak up farm together. So being 30 CS behind, Altec now is forced to kind of combine with the team as they siege clear.
Yeah, and Altec hasn't even completed his Infinity Edge.
Right. That happened in a previous game at 14 minutes. We're already forward past that.
Yeah,
so.
he has the gold for it. It's just a matter of finding the window to go back. They're
Yeah.
already down in map pressure, and they want to be able to punish LMQ for pushing up so far. That's why Helios is in the flank position. LMQ
Right.
really trying to accelerate this game right now.
Helios able to turn that into a very quick Aegis. Nice build by him, coordinating with the team. Just right now causing chaos. This actually does help. LMQ can't get a strong push on, but EG's also not getting anything out of this. They're just kind of giving themselves another chance to catch LMQ in a mistake. LMQ very strong, and you can see EG respecting that.
Yeah, I almost feel like this turret is set to go down unless EG tries a hard initiation, and it doesn't seem like they're powerful enough to do so.
Whoa!
Though it's starting.
Wow. Okay, whoa, no, they closed that a lot faster than I thought. EG was kind of walking very slow behind the ultimates. Didn't seem like they had the gap closed to get onto XiaoWeiXiao, but we had at least 2 flashes blown. LMQ now trying to lull them into a false sense of security, but EG says we're still on the forefront of this one. An advantageous flash forward. Altec looking for a zap. The rocket hits. Oh, he pulls him in. He should still be safe from the turret. He's got an exit stage left, but he stays in a little too long. And it looks like they're going to be able to get a few more kills. 1 for 1, another retribution coming in for Altec's death, but great play by EG.
Still, they found a
what we were
fight
talking about.
that piled onto XiaoWeiXiao. Imagine if Altec would have had his Infinity Edge that fight. It could have been an ace for EG. This is their team fight potency. Innox plus Pobelter running in there strong. And despite the hook at the start, Helios tanked up, got the ultimate, and turned it around.
That looked like a scary call at first. It was one of those maybe calls that everybody followed, and it worked out.
I mean, you normally see the Eve flank around, not come straight up the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
But the intervention and the Eve shield afterwards made him not a focusable target. And they blew up XiaoWeiXiao before he could get reasonable damage out.
Yeah.
At this point, it was just some solid chasing. Nami move, speed boost, Kale, Rise, they all move pretty damn fast. Just the tip of the bubble. And then it was funny, Altec had to use his heal to get in range. And then 2 shots. At this point, though, LMQ was just kind of overstaying because they had to get out of there.
Let's see, well, they want to return in that stay.
Finish that turn.
They're going to finish this one this time.
Going right back at him.
Good answer for Evil Geniuses as they take down the middle second-tier turret, but that's the only line they have for aggression right now. Ooh. That would have been some lockdown. Helios would not be leaving too soon after the flay. Out of the top lane, LMQ still trying to make EG move to them. See if they can keep doing that. Only a 400 gold lead. This game is very close.
Yeah.
You see Vasilii getting a little too close for comfort.
LMQ is continuing to try and press this one, but they do not have a gold lead right now. And they're still trying to press turrets in a not very clever manner. Helios could just get an ultimate down and they might just try and pile on like they did the last fight. This is immensely dangerous by LMQ.
Oh, what a grab over the wall. Innox forced to use intervention on himself, but this is how it happened. They caught EG, and EG was able to turn the fight around after that first initiation danger is gone from LMQ. Nobody's really following Helios on this one, but he's got enough pressure to stay alive himself.
Yeah, that's kind of was expected to happen. LMQ a little bit lucky to not walk out of that with more losses. This is a little bit more clever, though, because EG doesn't expect them to be sticking around.
Right. That's the LMQ return fight, where they usually take the upper hand. Enough wards for EG, though, previously placed. Keeps them and LMQ safe from their own control. Vasilii back to farming. What a close game again we have in the last day of Super Week.
Yeah, the day of upsets, apparently. Complexity and Curse already with victories over top 5 teams. EG looking to take down LMQ here after going 0-3 prior in Super Week. But we have been saying for quite some time, EG keeps it close or has small leads in almost all of their games, but their ability to close out and win has been severely lacking.
Somehow Pobelter, 8 assists on that Rise, is getting the items that he needs, trying to charge up the Seraph's Embrace. Already has the Rod of Ages charging up from a few minutes ago. LMQ, this is the map control they have, easily going in their favor. So you can see EG is considering that they need to just pretty much farm up and ward up right now. A dragon could put them in a very bad spot. You can see Helios wouldn't be ready. Altec's low on mana. So that's EG's mindset. They're okay with what's happening right now.
Yeah, map control has its own advantages.
Right.
It's in Dragons and Barons often most of the time. There will probably be a very tense point in this game where LMQ, because of their map control, can start posturing around the Baron pit. But it will be about whether EG can read it and find a fight, whether or not they punish heavily. Because it's pretty clear now that EG, if they have the right type of 5v5 fight, will win it. Maybe that changes if Tristana gets big enough, but there's no way Vasilii's at that point right now.
Something to keep in mind is that LMQ does love early Barons, up to 23 minutes, a 2 or 3 man Baron, and they have the ability to hop over walls with their composition. We saw it last game too. Sneaky, sneaky Barons. It's like they get the wards they want on it for now. And that sets up that potential Baron attempt for them. Infinity Edges on both sides, the 80 carries who are neck and neck in CS. We know both Altec and Vasilii to be very big in fights outside the laning phase. Blue Elixir bought up onto XiaoWeiXiao. A little more impact in this next fight. They're looking to really close it out and gain more than just an inch out of this fight. They want to gain that mile that opens up an inhibitor.
XiaoWeiXiao has to make the Cinder count next turn, right? Especially with the Kale and Rise being able to run straight at him. Late game, his ultimate won't be immensely reliable. It's fairly, for a very good Kale, a Kale can shut down that Cinder ultimate unless the Kale herself gets stunned.
Right.
It's very telegraphed. All the balls come up from Cinder, hit one at a time on the target. So even if you get the ult halfway through,
usually that guy has the ignite on him too. It's pretty telling.
Yeah. So basically, XiaoWeiXiao has to act now and pull off something pretty good. That's why he's got that blue elixir, obviously.
Big boost in damage quickly. Also, its percentage working with the Rabadons now, so it almost is worth a little bit more since he has that item. Nicely cleared out. Altec gets the red buff. And LMQ is a little short on their timing. They may feel like they're starting to work on EG's timer here. We also have Innox starting to control the top lane. EG really starting to gain control here. We see Pobelter in the bottom lane. Let's see if they can do this 1-3, kind of extended 3 in the mid 1.
Definitely some split pushing going on here. 1-3-1, is Tristana going to be able to find initiation? Rise, while he's a good duelist, is not a fast turret pusher by any means. Turret damage is either based on your attack damage or a percentage of your ability power.
Yeah.
Rise has neither of those things, so he pushes slower than anyone else in the game. He got it.
Yeah. Slow moving for those lane push on the outside lanes. Looks like Ackerman has actually given Innox a little something to think about in the top lane as they meet together. That's a level 14 to a level 14, both with teleport up, and only one with the ability to stop a teleport to the team fight. See Innox trying to keep his distance here as he knows it's going to come all the way into the wave, but now LMQ, they're on the side of EG's base. Let's see if they can make something happen. Let's see if they sweep out enough of these, clearing out the jungle. There is red, and now the Baron to possibly happen. That's Phantom Dancer has been finished up for Vasilii just now.
Ooh. LMQ gets pinged out while trying to lay a trap, and they may get trapped themselves. Helios is looking to flank, but it would be a very interesting move here. EG has littered wards throughout their jungle, so they would see most of the places for a fight. They're deciding whether to fight or go for a base race. Their indecisiveness actually cost them the turret, but they still want to close for this fight.
Ooh.
Helios in position.
Whoa!
Sees him!
Whoa, they flash for Helios. He's inside the box, but if he doesn't move, he's not going to take all that much damage. He gets the ultimate too. 3 ults used onto Helios.
What a shot!
Can they disengage? A 3-man buster shot pushes them back. Again, Vasilii flashes, jumps rather into the fight. Innox will go down as he can't reconsider who to hit next. Vasilii denies vision to the brush and then starts attacking again. Very well planned out, but more starting that one up big time.
Vasilii's buster shot onto EG stopped them from collapsing and allowed them to focus on Innox. Even with the Helios kill, it seemed like it could still be an EG fight until Vasilii.
That's all they need. Get an inch, take a mile. Pobelter goes in, XiaoWeiXiao. The shield's there. You have to reconsider that that's not going to be enough front end burst to get through an entire Ackerman Lulu shield this far into the game. Moore's coming up with very, very big hooks. And this is too reminiscent. When EG starts to crumble, they really start to fall apart.
EG has to be thinking that this can't happen again, because every single time they're in these close games or they look like they have a slight edge and they falter. This time it was all about a big team fight and then mistakes afterwards from Pobelter and Altec sticking around when they should not have.
That's scary. One more time.
Yeah.
Just buster shot.
Helios kind of thought that his ultimate would save him and Kale could knock it in range to kill all the Syndrome, which was XiaoWeiXiao doing the work. But it literally was that buster shot from Vasilii pushing everyone from EG back. I mean, look how kind of low they were. If Altec shooting AoE rockets into that team, LMQ would have gotten cleaned up. That didn't happen in the slightest. And then it was Pobelter, for some reason, thinking he could burst down XiaoWeiXiao. Altec just was not able to support him. Yeah, he flashed in for this.
How big is his shield coming in from Lulu? That was crazy.
Yeah.
And how about no?
Shield. Yeah, no thank you. Altec had no mana as well.
But great, like we said, buster shot from Vasilii, really creating a high and low road situation, and the EG could not return back to their original pathing. Unfortunate events plays in LMQ's favor very accordingly. And they got a 3,000 gold lead now, finally bringing that into their favor. They get the first deficit of the game onto EG with 7 turrets as well. So EG, as they were just starting to pick up that influx of gold, kind of gets shut down.
Really seems that way.
Especially with that Void Staff now onto XiaoWeiXiao. So much more impact from his ultimate.
Yeah, this wasn't even one of the games where it's a huge influx of magic resist on a Mundo or something that needs to cut through, but it's still going to be important. EG not out of this yet by any stretch of the imagination. But another mistake like the one they just had, or even just another lost team fight like the one they just had, a lot of that was LMQ playing fantastically. Would be the game.
Ooh, there's going to be a flash blown by Ackerman. Gets out safely, so good pressure by Helios, really trying to find out the roamers right now. Getting a few things in their favor, but they're not really things they can act on just yet, unfortunately. Talisman of Ascension bought out by Krepo as well as he starts to finish that up. I haven't seen those in a while. Giving a little extra movement speed to the team to get themselves into a fight.
Big item discrepancy by the 80 carries right now as well.
Yeah, full item.
Oh dear. Pobelter's not in range. Helios
LMQ. Being LMQ-y.
Wardless right now.
Oh.
Gonna try a flash. He got it!
Oh my god, Helios gets in! He's happy to take that one. He says, it's up to you now, guys. It's up to you.
Good lord. Flashes like that are almost never a good idea. Yet this time it works for Helios.
Yeah, right.
If he misses that, they get a 4v5 with Baron. They lose their second inhibitor. They lose the game pretty much for sure. Even with the Baron steal, they still have to hold 4v5 without their jungler. They do have Baron, though. Going to be tough to initiate.
Helios still being very vocal, even though he's down now. Presenting the team how to hold this, how to be safe.
They gotta hold this inhibitor, being down 2 inhibitors.
They can't get in too much. They can't get in at all. Altec forced to just farm out the minions, and still losing the Baron. LMQ is able to force down an inhibitor. We'll see if EG can answer back now with this buff.
Honestly, Riv, this is why Suicide Smite steals aren't necessarily worth it.
Who smited first?
Yeah.
He just smited. NoName didn't get a chance. He turned into spider form and was ready to execute.
Props to Helios for getting it.
Yep.
But they still lost 2 inhibitors at the end of the day. If they had 5 people alive, based on their teamfight strength, they probably could have held that inhibitor. At the very least, put up a good teamfight for it. But because it was a 4v5, they had to let it go.
10-10. Coming in at 32 minutes. EG really needing these as we've crested the middle of the summer split. Being at the bottom of the list and complexity continuing to beat top tier teams is leaving EG in the dust. And they need to start picking up some ground here. Blade of the Rune King finished up onto Alltech. He has been a very big answer for EG needing to step up here coming into the season. We'll see if they can continue this game. Already had some topsy-turvy endings. Can't, like you said, put it past EG just yet.
Yeah. Gold is still close, obviously the Baron helps with that. One inhibitor up for EG, so they just have to clear out the mid lane. This Baron basically just goes into stalling for EG right now, because they do have 5 people alive, 4 of them with Baron. LMQ has a big difficulty pushing directly into that. So it should hopefully help EG accelerate into the late game. That's the logic behind stealing the Baron, because it will give them some gold. But as you can see, the overall trend of gold in the game is still heavily in LMQ's favor. This was never actually like one of those big EG edges. It's not an EG collapse by any stretch of the imagination. It's just another close game that they failed to come out on top of thus far.
And that gold also shows that when EG did get anything, LMQ was quick to answer back. Yeah. Always quick to put that gold back in their favor. It doesn't take too long. See, that Baron probably got a good kick of gold over to EG, but still no lead. And LMQ answered back with an inhibitor, so easily keeping that one even. 1 minute and 30 onto Dragon. You can see that LMQ positions themselves bottom side of the map with that objective free so far. The wards are good still from EG though. They are getting the knowledge of where the rotations are coming from LMQ, and that is going to be the first step in coming back.
Yeah, they know they still have the Kale, the Rise, the Jinx. They have the pieces to put this together in the right
Patience.
way.
Young EG.
Yeah.
Patience. Look at that. Now they control their own jungle again. Small steps. Well, still, there's a word there. They'll get it, though, I promise. Alltech to farm up in mid. He's got a great clip of CS, highest in the game right now at 342. He can really be a menace. And you see, knowing he's behind a bit, uses an extra 350 to pick up a red elixir for a little bit of extra damage as well. These guys need to make an impact in the next fight.
Exactly. EG knows the next fight could be their last.
Right.
This game.
Pulling out all the stops. Got the Alacrity boots on himself for a little bit more movement speed on the upgrade. And now LMQ enters the top side of the base.
Yep, going for the exposed inhibitor this time. Reasonable expectations for LMQ, however. Baron buff just now expiring on EG. But unless there's super minions pushing through the middle and EG has someone not there defending, it's not a fight LMQ can bully their way into. You kind of just have to wait for Helios to present himself. And they found it!
No way. A lone pink ward he just walked through, perfectly placed by the team, allows them to start getting in. This time, they don't have to run in for Baron. They're already in the base.
Ackerman went down during that, actually. So, takes 2 to tango, I guess.
Absolutely.
Have to see how that happened.
Very quick shots. It's like Alltech's out of mana. Maybe did a switch to rockets and got some shots in. We may see it, may not. 30 seconds on those 2, though, and having your jungler down to the top laner that can push very well means a lot. They can't really get more pressure onto these inhibitors or the safety from Ackerman's wild growth.
Jeez. Some really good pink warding there by LMQ. I mean, the way you play against D when you're sieging is you pink ward behind yourself. A lesson in how to stop the flanks.
They're doing a great job so far.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that'd be a little dangerous.
Dicey. Trying to funnel in a corridor with XiaoWeiXiao's stun.
4 of 5 dragons. Baron going to EG. We'll have to see if there'll be another one to even have. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this matchup. We'll have to see if Pobelter's Rise can continue to scale. He's actually had a hard time. Only 9 assists to him. Yeah, assists are great, but a Rise would be loving to get those kills instead.
I actually took another look at the Ackerman death, and it was basically like he didn't get the memo that they were collapsing on Eve. He stuck around. Pobelter just ran at him, rune prisoned him, and they all killed him.
Oh,
very unfortunate moment, yeah.
Goes to show you, even though everybody looks like they're on the same page.
Yeah. Sometimes
somebody's daydreaming.
Open the book.
2K gold lead, 2.5 for LMQ. By no stretch, an instant win for them. 11-11 in kills. And somehow EG is still standing tall with only 4 turrets on the map. 2 exposed inhibitors, and LMQ is still having a hard time at pressuring an open inhib right now. Helios he's been going down, but he's been doing so much chaotic flanking that it gives LMQ so much to think about. They're never initiating their own moves.
And I think they're respecting the Kale Rise jinx as well.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
Only getting stronger.
They're catching Helios in a couple of bad spots. Helios has had some fantastic plays this game.
Yeah.
And some disastrous plays this game as well.
Both ends of the spectrum.
It all balances out in the end.
8 seconds, chat. We're about to dance.
Yeah, this Baron is a contentious place right now. No vision is safe for EG. All those wards getting cleared out. Some good sweeping. You can see Oracle's Lens has been the upgrade for both NoName and War, making this ever so important. Innox is actually trying to do the split push game. It's a very dangerous game right now. But here we go. How fast can he push versus LMQ making up their mind? Where will they go?
Ooh,
We've seen this song and dance from EG. They generally don't come out on top of these games, but they're trying it again. LMQ is laying in wait.
Oh, man. Keep pushing down mid. They actually stopped Moore. Moore was trying to return back here with Vasilii. They're trying to get back in the mid lane, and it looks like Innox is just going to be able to grab himself an inhibitor turret. Ackerman quickly gets there, level 17 to 18, but Ackerman can still shut down what Innox is doing with that Whimsy.
Great
Polymorph,
move
rather.
there by EG, honestly. LMQ didn't want to pull the trigger on the Baron. They respected the EG's team fight too much, and they get a turret out of it. And Helios is in position, but the rest of EG is not. This is going to be a slow blast.
Onto Vasilii. He gets knocked away. He actually gets put inside the box. What a shot from Vasilii. Now they can turn around and reassess the fight. Krepo walks in, taking 3 shots from Vasilii. He's still firing freely on the outside. Jumps to the back line. They're trying to focus him down. Eyes on Vasilii, and he goes down. It's going to be also Altec as well. The 80 carry damage is out, but Pobelter can still output that type of damage from Machine Gun Rise there. However, on the heels of Helios, he will be locked up. Still trying to create a little bit of trouble for the team, but he cannot get out, breaking the crowd control. Everybody's loving this in the LMQ fan side, and the Baron not going to be stolen this time.
I mean, LMQ has 40-second death timers. You would expect them to go clean up those inhibitors, but they take the Baron instead. They may still have time for inhibitors afterwards. That fight went completely in LMQ's favor as well. EG had a very sloppy initiation from many different flanks.
Too spread, way too spread.
LMQ goes back to base afterwards, doesn't even think about the inhibitors.
There's a big gap to be closed here in this
fight. Tidal Wave split him up, Helios comes in, but look at Kale and Rise, 2 of the big damage dealers. They're way back there.
Yeah.
They barely touch. And then, really, the name of the game is Vasilii right here because he creates chaos. He goes for Altec, jumps around the back of the fight, and then makes everyone chase after him while still taking out the opponent 80 carry. Too much distraction, too much protection from Ackerman and his Clear Lances. And EG does not play that fight optimally.
Really great focus from everyone. NoName getting a great wild growth from Ackerman, and they're really just confusing and shutting down a lot of what EG wanted to put forth in that fight, but they all died before they even hit the ground. LMQ coming out strong. Late game or the start of the game, they just want to fight. And they actually found a fight that EG brought to the table and put it in their favor. It just goes to show that LMQ is always ready to put the gloves on.
LMQ is just always ready to do anything, whether they're losing fights, coming back after fights, and just push up mid lane now, knowing they have the Baron buff on 5. The EG can't mess around with these split pushes. They have to get there immediately. They've come back from having 2 inhibitors down before, but giving them up is really dangerous on a fresh Baron buff, because that means LMQ could push 5 with Baron on a 3rd inhibitor while 2 are dead if EG doesn't fight them right here, right now.
Mid inhibitor, a little harder for Helios to get a
wants
pinch on.
To go.
As the tidal wave, Banshee's Veils are only going to be broken on that. They try to lock down Ackerman. His wild growth is still up, and you can see the patience of the skills being used, just slowly poking back at Pobelter, not trying to ult it.
Tidal wave, Rise ult down. LMQ still has everything. The 2nd inhibitor is not long for this world. They're
just watching everything go in their favor slowly, and they're not trying to push their luck on this too. They're getting everything they want within their limitations. They're going to go ahead and slowly walk away from the explosion.
Yeah, expertly done there by LMQ with very timely disengage when EG tried to run at them. Helios had a little bit of bad memory going around there because he did not try a way from the back flank. He tried to come in from the side, which meant LMQ could disengage really easily before Helios could get an ultimate off.
And that turret Innox was on. And such a good play from Evil Geniuses, unfortunately. Still up, cleared out now in the bottom lane by XiaoWeiXiao. They stand quite strong.
This could be.
XiaoWeiXiao's not there.
Ha.
Yeah, LMQ's reconsidering. Or maybe not. Ackerman says, I got the memo this time, but we should still go for it. Oh my gosh!
That hurts. EG left their base for the slightest amount of time. They have to go immediately back to go clear super minions as well.
Ackerman's writing the memos from now on. Fax them out. Alltech not able to get in range with the rest of the team to take down the dragon in fast enough time. We've seen Zap Dragons and Glitter Lance Dragons today. You gotta get your smites on, junglers.
Haste, I think it's a hard thing to do. This third inhibitor, though, is really hard to defend. We know how strong 2 waves of super minions are, and they will be arriving at EG's base. This is really bad for EG.
A good bubble, but a lockdown. They cannot get back into it with more being right there in the box possibility. Slow movements in here from LMQ, and they're getting everything they want as they turn EG's base into shambles. It's only a matter of time before they have enough minions to just brute force the base. A great tidal wave, but again, a little too far away. LMQ has beautifully disengaged to reset the fight.
And EG, they can try and stay in, but they're going to be losing their base.
Whoa!
Vasilii always goes in.
Vasilii going in so hard. You can see LMQ almost told each other, turn on the switch. It doesn't matter if you go down. We're getting everyone right now. And that switch was flipped indeed. Nexus turret's already going down by the hands of super minions as LMQ doesn't even need to be on the Nexus turrets to get them go down. That's going to be the Nexus following as well. Game 3 here on Super Week of Day 3 is going to go to LMQ at 44 minutes over EG.
LMQ saying they are not the team to be upset today.
No, sir. No, sir, indeed.
On this day of upsets. And another heartbreaker for EG as well. Being in the game for so long and then just having LMQ being a little better down the stretch.
What?
Well-communicated team fights by LMQ.
A great game of team fights overall.
Yeah.
From the mid lane, coast-to-coast dragon fights going to the top lane. Saw a hell of a lot of fight prowess from both of these teams, and they can match it up. Seeing where the falters came in this game, it's the pressure in front of the base. The initiations of EG trying to get back in. And LMQ, like we said, always ready to put on the gloves, was ready for a Helios flank.
And a great bounce back game for LMQ. They started off this Super Week 0-2, kind of reconfigured their mindset and said, you know what, if we come out of this at 2-2, it can still be a success. You can see how positive their faces are right now.
EG, a rough Super Week coming in here.
Yeah.
Not able to find any of what they wanted.
It's the second Super Week in a row EG has went 0-4. Week 1 and now Week 7. It keeps them in the bottom of the standings. They came in, 1 game back from Curse, tied with Complexity. Now they are 2 games back, at least, from Complexity. Complexity could still have another win.
Right, yeah,
and
they have another game today.
4 games back of Curse. So really not the week they were hoping for. And it continues. They look so good in the mid-game with Helios in the jungle. But now that moves them to 2-8 since the acquisition of their Korean jungler. And I know Helios does have good English. I've heard him talking. His early game calls are definitely enough. He can communicate with the basics and keywords. But you really have to wonder when they're pulling these late game team fights. You need to say more than flank, come here, gank top, ward. There's a very complex set of variables about pushing waves and knowing where wards are and initiating at the right time and waiting for skills before you go in. It's so many things you have to prep properly before a team fight. And I don't know if EG can do that right now.
Right. Early game communication, it's very lax. You have time to get from lane to lane. When everybody's roaming through the map, you're about to meet somebody. And you need instant control over that.
And you can tell that's what LMQ has.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there was the Ackerman getting left behind. But LMQ is very much a team on the same page. NoName calls almost all the shots, and people they have to listen to him.
Yep.
Right? And without that instant communication, sometimes you can run into some issues.
And when it happened for EG, we saw them go straight down the mid lane, flash in. They took down Syndra, and they started to gain control of the fights where they were just as headstrong as LMQ was. When you do that to a team, that does scatter them. It takes a lot longer to reassess what's going on. Did he flash? Can I use this? You know?
Yeah.
Are you going to see somebody try to kill an Elise with an ultimate when she just repels because you forgot repel was used?
Yeah.
Those little things in a fight become huge. And they were trying to do that with intervention situations, which didn't come out on top for them, unfortunately. We've seen Kale back and forth in the play. Teams are kind of letting her go through now.
Yeah, it hasn't shown immediate success, but I mean, it's a terrifying champion to play against. It is.
That's why people are trying to shut it down when it does get through.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 2 more games here on Super Week as well.
Yeah.
On the 410 patch. Next week, we're going to the 411 patch with Kale nerfs. They're not huge nerfs. She should still be viable, but she won't be the same kind of overwhelming perceptive force that they have. But, you know, another win for LMQ.
Absolutely. Moving on, there's more to go. So for the pros' perspective, let's throw it over to Dash.
Thanks, Riv. I want to welcome XiaoWeiXiao and our interpreter, Bo Shen, to the desk after a fantastic win over EG, bringing your Super Week to 2-2. Now, my first question for you, XiaoWeiXiao, is starting 0-2, what did you guys have to do as a team to prepare and move forward and make sure that you came out of the Super Week in a good position?
就是他第一个问题，就是你们在一开始 Super Week 一开始就输了2场，然后你们是怎么准备的，然后才能就是打到现在的2-2？
我觉得我们主要还是在输了之后能迅速的调整自己的心态，然后减少比赛中犯的失误，尽量去提早的抱团，然后打团的时候大家就是都做得好一点，主要还是团战以及5个人在就是5v5团战中的协调性，然后去赢得团战的胜利。
So the key for our winning is that we were able to go back and change our mindset for the game and come back strong, work as a team to keep push, and especially in the mid game, and we try to win all the team fights, and that's how we win our game.
You definitely showcase your team fighting in that game, but I want to ask a question more specifically about you in the mid lane. With the champion pool as big as it is, right, there's so many options for mid laners to pick. How do you as a mid laner prepare for all the different matchups that you might face?
就是现在的话，有中单的话，有很多英雄都很强势，然后都可以去选。然后呢，你觉得你是怎么来准备自己，然后让自己在应对所有的中单的时候都会游刃有余呢？
我觉得一般选英雄主要还是在看一些阵容以及对面的中单，比如说我在右边右边最后一个选人，然后我会根据对面中单的选择，然后选择一个线上比较好打的英雄，然后去 counter 做一个 counter pick。然后我在左边的话，因为左边中单是要先选的，然后我就会选择一些线上比较强势，就是比较 OP 的，然后角色去对抗对面的中单。
It all depends on how you pick and counter pick another team. If I was in the right side, I would choose because we have to choose our mid lane first, and then I will pick some like a really good champion who can bully other champions. And if we on the left side, we were so I will be the last one to choose. Then I will counter pick their pick. So that's how I pick my champion.
Absolutely. So side choice really matters there. Kind of a follow-up in the mid lane. In this game specifically, we saw a lot of focus on the mid lane, right? Both junglers showed up multiple times. How does that change your play style when all of a sudden there's a bunch of focus on the mid lane?
就是在这场比赛中，大家都在针对中单，就是不论是你还是对面的中单，然后你是怎么来应对这样的情况的呢？
因为辛德拉本来就是一个比较在线上容易赢得瑞兹的英雄，然后对面的打野是一个寡妇，然后我们这边打野是一个蜘蛛。在前期的 gank 中，因为这局的话，他前几波 gank 也是因为就第一波瑞兹闪现，然后 W 我，然后我也是闪现躲了，然后血线被打下去了。所以说这局因为他们上下路都不是很好抓，所以说他寡妇加瑞兹肯定会一直抓我，而且辛德拉在没有就1v1的情况下是很容易就把瑞兹压得很惨的，所以说我这局已经知道他应该会来就是蹲我。所以说我就会一直呼叫自己的打野，然后在两边做一些防守眼，然后尽量的话 走位小心一点，然后有打野在的话，我们就可以上去稍微的卖一下，然后跟他们打一个2v2。所以说，因为我们英雄的优势还是比较容易赢得在前期的一个2v2 的。
Because I picked Syndra, basically she is better in the laning phase than Reds, so I knew that they would try to gank me to help their Reds, and then I just keep calling NoName to help me out, and we put a lot of vision in to protect me, and then we counter jungle we counter gank their gank, and then we gain a little bit advantage.
Alrighty, and the final question I have for you is more a question about how it feels to now be established in the North American scene, right? We're 7 weeks into the split. You've definitely developed a fan base. So what does that feel like to really be a part of this, this especially such a chaotic and, contentious split? What does that feel like?
就是现在已经打了7周了，然后呢，你在北美这边也很受欢迎，有很多 fans。然后呢，你现在能对这个就是现在整个北美的比赛的情况的进展做一个分析吗？
我觉得北美这边主要是打法风格偏向于稳定，大家更愿意去 farm， 然后打一个后期的团战。所以说大家选择一般都会选择那种团战，像 AOE 爆发这种。所以说每局比赛都会发现打的时间很久，因为 大家都在进行一个 farm， 然后去等待最后一波团，所以说主要这边的风格还是偏向于 farm， 就是而且前期的 gank 也会比较少吧，所以说差不多这边主要的风格就是这样。然后我们跟其他队伍的风格就不一样，主要是我们每一局都能在前期选择一些非常强势的英雄，然后前期取得一定的优势，但是很多比赛输是因为 打到中后期，然后发现阵容被对面就是很猥琐的 farm， 然后对面装备成型之后，然后跟我们打，很多时候我们后期的阵容就是打不过对面，所以说这边可能就是主要风格的不一样吧。
So the North America LCS is very different from China, and usually teams will farms or not, and in the late game they tend to team fight or not. But the difference LMQ is that we try to gank in the beginning or not. We try to fight, always try to fight, and the reason why lose our games is because that sometimes they just turtling all the game, and in the end, and they farmed up, and their team combo was way better than ours, and then we lose our game. So the difference is how we play the game.
All right, well, you're coming off of 2 great wins here to end Super Week. I want to thank both you, XiaoWeiXiao, and Bo-Shen for the interview. Now, we've got more action coming up after the break, and we're going to read a few of your Twitter responses. Then Team Solo Mid will storm to the Rift to face off against Complexity in our 4th match of the day. We'll be right back.
Vasilii crazy.
More hate spikes, another kick to the backside of XiaoWeiXiao, and he puts him down to the chair. Oh, what a rude prison! Ultec looking for a zap. The rocket hits. Oh, he pulls him in. He should still be safe on the turret. He's got to exit stage left, but he stays in a little too long. Krepo walks in, taking 3 shots from Vasilii. He's still firing freely on the outside. Jumps to the back line. They're trying to focus him down.